$89 per ounce. That is not a prediction. That is not a forecast. That is the actual price of physical silver right now, if you can even find someone willing to sell it to you. While the paper price on your screen says $32, the real world has completely disconnected. And here is what should terrify you. The biggest dealers in America have gone dark. They have stopped answering phones. They have shut down their websites. Some have even locked their doors. This is not a technical glitch. This is not a supply chain hiccup. This is the beginning of a market structure collapse that happens maybe once in a century. And you have approximately 48 hours before the window slams shut completely. For years, people said a breakaway gap in precious metals was conspiracy theory. They said the paper price and the physical price would always track each other. But right now, in real time, that 40-year assumption is being destroyed. The macro shield method has been warning you about this exact scenario for 6 months. We told you the premiums would explode. We told you the inventory would vanish. We told you the dealers would shut down to protect themselves. Every single domino is falling exactly as the systemic model predicted. And the final domino, the one that triggers the full panic, that one tips tonight at midnight Eastern time. I am going to show you exactly what is happening in the plumbing of the silver market, why this 48-hour window exists, and what you need to do before it closes. But first you need to understand the lie you have been told your whole life. The two-price reality. There have always been two silver markets. There's the paper market, where contracts trade on the COMEX exchange in New York. This is where the price you see on TV comes from. Then there is the physical market, where real metal changes hands, coins, bars, actual silver. For 40 years, these two prices stayed close together, maybe $1 or $2 apart. That spread was called the premium. It was predictable. It was boring. It was stable. That stability is gone. It died 3 days ago, and most people do not even realize it yet. On Monday morning, the COMEX paper price was $32.10 per ounce. That same morning, if you called a major dealer like APMEX or SD Bullion, the price for a 1 ounce American Silver Eagle was $89. Some dealers were quoting $95. But here's the thing, they were not actually selling. They would give you a quote, but when you tried to lock it in, the website would crash, the phone would go to voicemail, the confirmation email never came. This is not incompetence. This is a controlled retreat. The dealers know something you do not. They know the paper price is about to snap. Let me explain how this works. The COMEX is a futures exchange. It is a casino where people bet on the future price of silver. Less than 2% of contracts ever result in actual physical delivery. It is just paper trading paper, but there is a rule. If you hold a contract into expiration, you can demand delivery. You can force them to give you real silver. Right now, there are over 200 million ounces of paper silver claims. But in the COMEX registered vaults, there are only 38 million ounces of actual silver available for delivery. That is a ratio of 5 to 1. 5 claims for every ounce of metal. But it gets worse. That 38 million ounce number is a lie. It is double counted, triple counted, and the same bar gets leased out multiple times. It is like a game of musical chairs, except there are 200 people and only 7 chairs. And the music is about to stop. We are 48 hours away from the May contract expiration. Thousands of contract holders are standing for delivery. They are saying, I do not want your paper. Give me the metal. And the COMEX cannot do it. They do not have it. This is why the dealers went dark. They know what happens next. When the COMEX defaults, when they admit they cannot deliver, the paper price becomes meaningless. It becomes a hallucination. The only price that matters is the price of real metal in your hand. And that price is about to go vertical. The macro shield method, how we saw this coming. Let me show you the 3 indicators that predicted this crisis with mathematical precision. First, the Basel III regulations that took effect in January. These rules forced European banks to treat unallocated gold and silver as liabilities, not assets. This broke the leasing market. It cut off the supply of cheap metal to the COMEX. Second, industrial demand. Solar panels, electronics, electric vehicles. They consume 60% of global silver production. That demand is inelastic. Factories cannot shut down because the price goes up. They have to pay whatever it costs. Third, mine supply is collapsing. The top 3 silver-producing mines in Mexico are facing expropriation by the government. Peru is in political chaos. These 3 factors created a pressure cooker. The COMEX is the weakest point, and it is about to blow. You're watching the exact same setup that destroyed the London gold pool in 1968. Back then, central banks tried to hold gold at $35 per ounce by selling reserves. They ran out. The price exploded to $800. But here's the key difference. In 1968, governments had gold to sell. Today, they have already sold it. The vaults are empty. There is no cavalry coming. This time, when the dam breaks, there's nothing behind it to stop the flood. Why dealers are shutting down. Let me walk you through what is happening inside a silver dealership right now. Imagine you run a coin shop. You have 10,000 ounces of silver in your vault. On your website, you list the price at $35 per coin, a $3 premium over spot. You wake up Monday morning, your phone is ringing off the hook, your website has 5,000 orders. Every smart dealer is choosing option 2. This creates a cascading effect. When 5 dealers shut down, the remaining dealers get flooded. They get overwhelmed, so they shut down too. Within 72 hours, the entire retail market goes dark. We are 48 hours into that process right now. By midnight tonight, the last major dealers will either raise prices to 100 pluses or they will go offline completely. This is not a conspiracy. This is basic economics. When supply disappears and demand explodes, price has to rise. But in a market this broken, price does not rise smoothly. It gaps. It jumps. It goes from $32 to $89 in a single keystroke. Because there are no bids in between, the market skips over $40, $50, $60. There's nobody willing to sell at those prices. This is called a liquidity vacuum. And you are watching it form in real time. The COMEX trap. Here is what the mainstream financial media will not tell you. The COMEX is not designed to deliver metal. It is designed to settle in cash. When a contract expires and someone demands delivery, the exchange has a legal loophole. It is called force majeure. It is a clause in the contract that says, if we cannot deliver due to extraordinary circumstances, we will just pay you cash instead. You think you are buying a claim on 5,000 ounces of silver, but what you actually own is a promise that can be broken with a lawyer's signature. But here is where it gets dangerous for them. If they invoke force majeure, they admit the market is broken. They admit the price is fake. This destroys all confidence in the paper market. Every holder of a silver contract will try to sell immediately. The paper price could crash to $10 while the physical price is at $100. This two-tier system will be undeniable. It will be on CNBC. It will be in the Wall Street Journal. And once the public sees it, the rush to physical will be unstoppable. The COMEX is trapped. If they deliver, they run out of metal and the price explodes. If they do not deliver, they expose the fraud and the price explodes. Heads you win, tails they lose. This is why the 48-hour window exists. Right now, there is still some metal available at insane premiums. By Wednesday, there will be none at any price. The mint has already stopped. Let me show you the smoking gun. The U.S. Mint produces American Silver Eagles, the most popular coin in the world. Last week, they announced an immediate suspension of sales to authorized dealers. Their exact words? Due to unprecedented demand, we are temporarily unable to fulfill orders. Translate that from bureaucrat speak. They are out of silver. The United States Mint, backed by the full faith and credit of the government, cannot get their hands on enough metal to make coins. But it is not just the U.S. The Royal Canadian Mint stopped taking orders on Friday. The Perth Mint in Australia has a 6-month waiting list. These are not small operations. These are the biggest mints in the world. And they are all saying the same thing. There is no silver. The pipelines are dry. Now ask yourself this question. If the mints cannot get silver, where is the COMEX going to get it? The answer is they are not. They are going to default. And that default is going to happen in the next 48 hours. The derivative time bomb. But the real danger is not in the futures market. It is in the derivatives. There are over $200 billion in silver derivatives, held by just 3 banks, JP Morgan, HSBC, and Scotiabank. These are complex bets on the direction of the silver price. They are leveraged 100 to 1. If silver gaps from $32 to $90 in a single day, these derivatives blow up. The banks that hold them face margin calls they cannot meet. We are talking about a Lehman Brothers level collapse, but in the commodities market. This is why you're seeing emergency meetings at the Federal Reserve. This is why the CFTC, the regulator that oversees the COMEX, held a closed-door session on Sunday night. They know the bombs are armed. They are trying to defuse them before Wednesday morning. But here is the truth. There is no diffusing this. The only way to stop it is to flood the market with physical silver. And there is not enough silver on planet Earth to cover the paper claims. You're watching the final days of a 40-year Ponzi scheme. The COMEX sold the same ounce of silver to 200 different people. It worked as long as nobody asked for delivery, but now they are asking. And the con is over. The 3 things you must do before midnight. I'm going to give you the exact playbook that the macro shield method has prepared for this scenario. But you have to move fast. This window is closing in hours, not days. First, if you already own physical silver, do nothing. Do not sell, do not get cute. The dealers that are still open are offering buyback prices of $40 while charging $89 to sell. That spread is your proof. They are desperate to acquire metal. They know what is coming. Your silver is about to be repriced to its actual supply-demand value. That value is somewhere between $150 and $300 per ounce. Just hold. Second, if you do not own physical silver and you want to protect yourself, you have one option left. Local coin shops. Not online dealers, physical stores. Walk in with cash today. Many small dealers are not connected to the national wholesalers. They have inventory in the back room that they bought months ago. They have not fully repriced yet. You might find American Silver Eagles at $50, $60. That is a gift. That price will be $120 by next week. Third, and this is critical, avoid the paper silver ETFs. Do not buy SLV. Do not buy futures contracts. You're buying a claim on metal that does not exist. When this market breaks, those paper products will be settled in cash at the fake COMEX price. You will get $32 per share while real metal is trading at $100. This is the biggest wealth transfer trap in the precious metals market. But here is what you really need to understand. This is not about making money. This is about preserving what you already have. We are entering a phase where currency is being destroyed in real time. The dollar is losing 7 to 10% of its purchasing power per year. Stocks are in a bubble propped up by corporate buybacks. Bonds are yielding less than inflation. Real estate is collapsing under the weight of 7% mortgage rates. There is nowhere to hide in traditional assets. Silver is not an investment. It is insurance. It is a lifeboat. And right now, the lifeboats are being loaded. The ship is not sinking yet, but the crew is panicking. That should tell you everything you need to know. The macro shield method. What happens? Next, let me show you the timeline. Tonight at midnight Eastern, the COMEX position limits reset. This is the deadline for traders to roll their contracts or stand for delivery. Based on the open interest data, we are looking at delivery demands for over 60 million ounces. The registered vaults have 38 million. This is a hard default. It is mathematically unavoidable. Wednesday morning, you're going to see one of two things. Either the COMEX invokes force majeure and settles in cash, or they emergency halt trading and shut down the silver market entirely. Both outcomes are catastrophic for paper holders. Both outcomes send physical prices into the stratosphere. By Friday, every mainstream outlet will be running stories about the silver shortage. They will interview experts who will say, nobody could have seen this coming. That is a lie. The macro shield method has been tracking this for 6 months. The data was screaming, but nobody in the financial media wanted to listen because their advertisers are the same banks that are short silver. Your 48-hour action plan. You need to ask yourself one question right now. Do you trust a paper contract from a New York exchange, or do you trust a piece of metal in your hand? The COMEX has already proven they will change the rules to protect themselves. In 1980, they literally changed margin requirements overnight to crush the Hunt brothers. They will do it again. The macro shield method is built on one principle: own what you can defend. If it is not in your physical possession, you do not own it. You own a promise. And promises from institutions that are losing billions of dollars are worthless. I know this sounds extreme. I know it sounds like fear-mongering, but go call a dealer right now. Try to buy 100 ounces of silver, see what they tell you, see if they can even give you a price. That is your proof. The market is broken. It is not breaking. It already broke. You're just watching the aftermath unfold in slow motion. The 48-hour window I am talking about is not some arbitrary deadline I made up. It is the expiration calendar of the COMEX contract. It is the point of no return where the math stops working, and the system has to choose between honesty and survival. And we all know what choice they will make. The final warning. This is the part where I am supposed to tell you everything will be okay. Where I am supposed to say the Federal Reserve will step in and save the day. I'm not going to lie to you. The Fed cannot print silver. They cannot digitally create metal out of thin air. This is a physical shortage in the real world, and no amount of monetary policy can fix it. What you are witnessing is the market's way of saying the dollar price of silver has been suppressed for decades. The natural price, the price that balances supply and demand, is multiples higher than $32. That repricing is happening right now. It is violent, it is chaotic, but it is also inevitable. You have a choice. You can wait for permission from CNBC to take this seriously. You can wait for your financial advisor to tell you it is okay to buy silver. But by the time they do, the metal will be gone. The dealers will be dark, and the price will be something you cannot afford. Or you can trust your own eyes. You can see that the dealers have shut down. You can see that the premiums have tripled. You can see that the mints have stopped production. And you can act accordingly. The macro shield method exists to give you the information the institutions do not want you to have. We do not sell silver. We do not have a dog in this fight. We just analyze the macro data and tell you what it says. And right now, it is screaming. The 48-hour window closes tonight. After that, you're at the mercy of a market that has already lost its mind. Protect yourself. Protect your family. And whatever you do, do not trust a paper claim when the real thing is still available. Click the next video to see the historical precedent for what happens in the 72 hours after a commodity market breaks. I will show you the exact playbook from 1980, 2008, and 2011 and why this time is different. The pattern is undeniable. I will see you there.